I want to talk about that little spell, the Gakpo goal then, because obviously there's a video on Twitter, there's a 2-minute spell where both of our goals are effectively encapsulated, and a lot of stuff happens in that time as well. Least of all, Andros Townsend comes onto the pitch, which is mad. Chloe, I think it was, said to me post-match, I had corner taken quickly vibes to it. I've got a very, because I actually saw that happen in front of me because I was paying attention. I had no idea quite how, I thought someone had, I thought McAllister literally hit it straight in. I was that like, I just saw the ball arcing into the top corner. But actually, that had corner taken quickly vibes. But actually, I thought the game in general had a bit of Barcelona 4-0 vibes to it as well, Andy. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, second half definitely in terms of the atmosphere. I mean, it wasn't quite the Barcelona atmosphere, but it was certainly like, let's suck the ball in. And I don't know if you've seen Rob Edwards' comments after the game where he actually comes out and says, like, second half it was just proper Anfield. They were sucking the ball in, they suffocated us, and like he said, I've never seen a crowd like it in my life. And you know, that's how it felt in the ground. I was in the upper main, which is usually it can be a bit hit and miss for the atmosphere, but again,
it was you who was there at half.
You got back in time for this one.
Yeah. So no, I think you know, for that second goal, it's like, if you actually have a look at the highlights back, the cop goes absolutely mental for both those goals. It's one of those things where you see like footy limbs accounts on Twitter posting
scoring 2 goals that quickly, that so close together, does really get the crowd up, doesn't it? I mean, I'm sorry, I read the paper this morning and it said Klopp afterwards mentioned Barcelona.
Yeah,
he said that this is these players Barcelona.
It's honestly, and it sounds bad because people without thinking about it will scoff at it because it's Barcelona in a Champions League semi-final and it's Luton at Anfield with
3-0 down to start with.
Yeah, well, yeah, true enough. But again, it goes back to the context we talked at the start of the show. The players that were out on that pitch and moreover the players who weren't available, again, it gets forgotten about Barcelona. It wasn't just coming back from 3 down. It was doing it without Salah and without Firmino and with Andy Robertson going off injured. And you know, there was so many factors against us on that night. And this had that pre-kickoff of, you know, like 11 lads who could have all had a game for us last night in theory. All unavailable for a variety of reasons. Some of the best players on the planet not available to us, and we put out a team, and then to go that goal down, and again all your fears and your doubts start to creep in, and effectively to do only a 1-goal turnaround, but to do it in 45 minutes, and that feeling of Liverpool are inevitable when we got our head of steam going, and you get the goal back, and you Van Dijk running away back to the not celebrating, and then the quickness which the second one comes. The pandemonium on the Kop was just, the difficulty in the comparison, Andy, is that the Barcelona one is so immediate because you know what you've done. What you've done there is you've booked a place in the Champions League final, and you can come and celebrate that. You can come and line everyone up in front of the Kop and sing You'll Never Walk Alone, wonderful. We won't know how important this is for another week or 2 weeks or 2 months or 2.5 months. But my gut feeling on that is if you can do that there, I don't know what it's going to take to derail Liverpool is what I'm driving at.
Yeah, and I think with the Barcelona one as well, we had that thing of that it was all or nothing for that season because Man City had just had that win against Leicester the night before where Kompany scored his the only goal he's ever scored from outside the box, and you're thinking, you know, we're going to get 97 points here and we're going to ultimately come away with nothing, and who knows what the next season brings. Obviously the next season ends up bringing the league, but I think the Champions League led into that. So I think it was that idea of like, this is literally all or nothing, and with the league it wouldn't have been the case. You know, we could have still beaten City and taken it back into your own hands, but it would have felt very much like, oh goodness me, Luton at home, probably the easiest game you have, notwithstanding Sheffield United at home until the end of the season, and we're going to drop the points here and we're going to lose it on this. And I think just everyone, once we got that first goal back, and to be fair, I think we needed to, because I think if that went on another 10 minutes without it, could the crowd have started to turn and started to think, actually this is a serious reality that we're going to drop points now. I think we needed the goals at the time they came, but yeah.
You just need people in that instance. Again, it's the crowd, but the players, the synergy, you know, people stepping up collectively to go and make it happen. Virgil van Dijk, you know, again, the pure determination to go and make that happen, to go and get that first goal. And then everyone's just goes absolutely nuts. They're all flowing forward towards this sort of one goal of, we want 3 points. We want to go and make sure we get this. Because again, context for this, Dad, in fact, Aaron, can we just bring the graphic up again of the team of who's missing again? No Alisson, no Bajcetic, Reece Williams is in there. Oh, obviously, the numbers up, but no Matip, no Trent, no Jones, no Thiago, no Szoboszlai, no Jota, no Nunez, no Salah for this game. And I get a lot of this, like, it's Luton, you should be beating Luton, blah, blah, blah. I get that, but also that's not how football works. Sometimes you can undercut the quality of what you've got. I just felt an immense sense of pride and just and passion that came with it, because that this is the week where it should have all come undone. Because obviously we dropped points to Arsenal, which effectively put it back into Manchester City's hands the other week. The game in hand thing was about to come undone. So what was going to happen at the weekend was City beat Chelsea, and then they play their game in hand, and that would have been it. This was the week where Liverpool was supposed to go behind City in the race for the title. And then, okay, Chelsea take points off City. You think, well, that's a good thing. And then you lose all those players to injury off the back of a brilliant result of the weekend. And then this is the one. And then that what happens at the weekend, you're probably coming back second in the league. And then you're chasing Man City. And instead, we're clear top of the league.
Also, the fact that the game was rearranged quite quickly.
Yeah.
We wouldn't normally have played it, and City would have played their game in hand, and we'd been left, to wait until the weekend, and that would have built up tension already. Suddenly we've got this game out of the blue, and we've got no players to play it, and but I mean, we shouldn't forget we've only lost 2 games all season, and one of them we all know we didn't lose, and the other one was to Arsenal of all people when we had a bad day. Yeah. So this team don't lose football matches. And it doesn't matter who's on the pitch, we don't lose football matches. Yeah. And I think the crowd need to try and remember that, that this lot of players will give everything and keep doing it every week. And they might take a while to get going. Yeah. But going back to that second goal, though, the fact that McAllister takes up such a great position for the throw-in, and the cross was just phenomenal. It was at such pace. I could have headed it in. It just would have hit Gakpo's head and gone in anyway. The pace of it, it's just phenomenal. It was just one of them, and that's what I mean. It's tough. Look, Barcelona will live in infamy, and and for me, and everything in between. In the history of the great Liverpool games, and again, because it's got that, you can immediately there. It's done. It took its place in history the second the full time whistle went. We won't know how important this is for another few months yet, Andy, but my general feeling on this is if Liverpool manage to have an historic end to the season here, and whether that's winning the league or we're picking up another trophy or any trophies, this is just going to be this. I think they'll be able to pin by. I think when you ask Klopp, when Klopp gets interviewed about this season, they'll all talk about this game, I think.
Do you know what I think was actually quite similar to? It was when we go for the nearly quadruple season, we play Norwich at home in around March, and we end up winning 3-1, but we go 1-0 down, and they're bottom of the league by a mile at that point. And it's that same panic of we're going to drop points to the worst team in the league. This is all going to be derailed to the worst team in the league. And Anfield similarly feral that day, and I remember that being one of the best atmospheres of that season. But we're such an emotional crowd, and that's for the large part that drives the players on. It means we have those. It's responsible for those European nights. It's responsible for nights like last night, and you've opposition managers coming out saying the crowd sucks it in. But then sometimes it has its downsides, and the one I always remember last day of that season against Wolves when we're drawing 1 each and the news comes through that City have gone 2-0 down, and I remember we can see this stupid corner, and I've never seen the cops so angry in my life, and Robertson turns around to us and tells us to effing calm down. And he was right too. So you get all the good stuff, you get the atmosphere, you get the sucking the ball into the net, but you do also get the other side of it. The
crowd live on their nerves, don't they? I mean, everyone knows it's City are now coming strong, and it's all a little precarious, and everyone's worried to death, and they're only happy when we're winning. Yeah, because then they can relax a little bit. People
want certainty in football, and football can't give you certainty because it's there's 22 people all doing their own thing on a pitch, all being dictated to by another team of people and a team of people behind them, under the influence of however many tens of thousands of people are all screaming their emotions at them at the same time. We'd all like to know that it's going to work out all right, but we can't. So, there's just something to when you see the players out there really go and give their all, and that was the thing. It was against the odds, and it will sound odd without the context to say Liverpool-Luton isn't against the odds game, but that was the nature of where that team was at, where that squad was at. Look at the players that we end up bringing on. There was no one on the bench there. There were no game changers on the bench for Liverpool all of a sudden, and to be able to drag that through, and not just drag it through. I thought 2-1 would have been an amazing
Andy
victory,
Robbo
to
did
win
his
4.
best to be a game changer.
He did.
I mean, he was terrific when he came on. I mean, I've never been his biggest fan in recent years, but what I've seen him, recently, he really is determined to.
That's what you need, and that's what matters a lot in these kind of situations. So let us know, where does it rank? Is it better than Barcelona? If not, where does it rank in the great Anfield nights